What's up, everybody? Welcome to the So podcast, the Stream On, Streaming On podcast of the month of April, I believe. Welcome,
Mhm.
everybody. Hope everybody's doing good. Hope everyone had a good month. Let's introduce ourselves. We should always introduce ourselves. I sometimes forget that we have to do that. But what's up? I'm Gray,
I'm Blue.
and
And what's up?
we're Blluist. What's going on, everybody? So April. Let's go. Let's get right into it. So, how was the month of April for you? There was a lot of stuff that we did.
I mean, we finished up Elden Ring, right? And then we moved on to like a lot of story games.
Yeah.
Like we did pick up Dark Souls, but we realized like the last thing we want to do is just do Souls games. So we did switch over and play some story games like what Heavy Rain and House of Ashes.
Yeah, story games
But
that were
yeah,
like
yeah.
kind of we haven't really been controlling characters too much. I mean, there was one we did that what's that? There is no game, that game
Yeah,
where
yeah.
which
We
was
did.
like kind of
Oh, it's pretty fun.
I feel like a lot of the games that we're playing are like story based or kind of like surrounding the same kind of genre
Yeah,
of
yeah.
like quirkiness, I guess right now. We're trying to experiment with more of those.
I mean, I really enjoy those, so I don't really mind.
Yeah,
Like
same.
I don't mind playing them, like more of them even, but yeah.
Yeah, so
It's been a bit since we've played those, so.
what did you think? Like we played Elden Ring for so long. We took I think 2 days off of like we were streaming, but we didn't play Dark Souls because we were talking about playing Dark Souls
Yeah.
while we were playing Elden Ring. Like, what are we gonna do for the next game type thing? And Dark Souls 3 came up, but we didn't, and then we did, and sometimes we're like, and then we decided we have to take a middle ground to kind of we'll still play it, but it's we have to take breaks.
Yeah.
What's like the biggest difference for you for going from like Elden Ring? 'Cause it's a
Well, I
Souls
mean,
game,
Elden
right?
Ring
So
is completely new. It's our first time playing it, so everything's really exciting and like it's there's a lot of things to do in between bosses. So it doesn't seem like it's too much of like a not it's not dragging, but like what's the word for it?
the
Doesn't seem
exploration is
so
just really
slow,
fun.
I guess.
Yeah.
But with Dark Souls, since it's so linear, I feel like we're just rushing to the next boss, and that can be kind of exhausting.
It does feel
Like
like
I think
yeah.
yeah, Dark Souls games tend to tire me more than Elden Ring did.
Yeah, I remember like I
So
I just never got bored of, exploring the world just because it was all new and stuff and how massive that game was.
yeah,
And it's kind of like it really hits that itch of, be liking RPG games too
hmm
and exploring the world, getting stronger, getting new weapons, fighting like all these mini bosses and it was just a very different experience. So going from that, especially for you because you've already played Dark Souls.
yeah. I mean, you've played some of it too,
Mm,
so especially since you've seen all of it too, because you watched me play it. So it's not it's like nothing new, right?
yeah.
Um, So maybe like I do kind of regret playing back to back. I feel like we should have put a little bit more time in between Elden Ring and Dark Souls, but
But I want to say that it's not like we're not enjoying it. It's just we're not really used to doing the same kind of um, playing, like the same recipe, I guess. Like we usually switch it out a lot. Like
yeah,
sometimes
like
there's
it's
times when
like
we just don't play
playing.
games. We just do just chatting for, a while when we don't find a game. Like that's our normal style.
I
Or-
mean, it's like playing like if we were to play like if back then when we were playing Final Fantasy 7, like the original 7, it's like playing 7 and then 8 and then 9 back to back.
Yeah.
Like that's just so much RPG. Like don't get me wrong, we love Final Fantasy, but I feel like we would put in games in between. We don't usually just jump from one game in the same franchise to the next.
Yeah, it's just
So
not something we're used to. It's
yeah,
just it's a different style. So I mean, I'm still down to keep playing because I do like this split control thing, and a lot of the games that we do play split control, um, Elden Ring was very different. Like the Souls games are very different
hmm
because it's really focused on that. But like we did, Heavy Rain split control, and we've done all the games after that split control. But there's not too much focus on the split control part. It doesn't require that much focus. We can focus on other things.
yeah.
There
Well,
was a
except for
very
like QTEs, you know.
yeah,
Uh,
that's impossible. But I'm horrible at those. But I think it's it was a cool experiment to see like, oh, maybe, there's all these streamers out there that are like one category, playing one game at a time, and we're always like, that's like shouts out to those people because like we could never do that. That's something we can
That's
never
something
do.
we've never been able to do.
We tried it with 14, didn't work. And it was like our second time just because of, how well Elden Ring did for us. So, but it just wasn't us. And I think the more we did that, and if we did push ourselves, maybe more people might have been like, but that wouldn't be us, and we would have been burnt out. And we felt it pretty early on that, oh, this isn't our style.
Yeah.
And so we prioritized that more than what probably would have grown our channel a little bit more than, going on from like a new thing. And I know some people are going to ask questions about that. So I'm not going to go in too much detail yet, but yeah, so that's how we played playing a lot of story games. So we have been playing a lot of story games. You've been enjoying them, you said.
Yeah. I really like them.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
They're really down your alley, I think.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that we are good at doing compared
I think so
to
too.
just because there's banter between us, we don't agree on one thing, and then people in chat are also not agreeing,
And
with
also
our
it
decisions,
kind of
and
like,
it's just like, or when we do, that's fine too. But
and we always say like, you and I, we're not good at video games. Like,
True.
we're not.
no, we're horrible.
We just really like video games, and I think those games kind of showcase that, and that's what I like. Because we always get endings that people on stream wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like people watching wouldn't.
Yeah, that's true.
So Heavy Rain, I mean, we got one of the worst endings.
Yeah.
And it's not like we were trying to either. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
And so I think it's always really fun to do those because it's like people are seeing playthroughs that they probably wouldn't get on their own time.
Mm-hmm.
So, but with
Exactly.
RPGs, like we're good at RPGs, or relatively compared to other ones. So I think we don't struggle too much. But for some reason with story games, we're always getting like really bad endings, or like so many people are dying.
We're just not good at like the QTs
No.
are too hard, man.
Yeah.
QTs are too hard. But also like outside of streaming, this month was a very busy month for you.
Yeah.
Because which is it's a really good type of being busy. Your mom was here.
Yeah,
And so
my mom was visiting. Finally, like after 2.5 years, she
it
was
so
able
nice seeing
to,
her.
yeah, come to Japan because they were letting in people now. I mean, foreigners still can't come in, but Japanese, like people who have Japanese nationality or like citizenship, I guess, can come and visit. So my mom was able to visit. Hopefully, like my dad can come visit soon, but he wasn't able to at the time. But yeah, it was really nice. Like, I mean, I did have to cancel a lot of streams, and that was something I kind of struggled with because I didn't.
So that's what I want to ask you
Yeah.
about. Is that like, of course, I love spending time, and I was I was there a lot, not all the time, but I was
Mhm.
there a lot when you were hanging out with your parents, and we never had a discussion about like, oh, should we cancel, today, and then one of us being like, oh no, we should stream. It's like, no, it's fucking family. We're gonna spend time with the family.
Yeah.
But it's a dilemma that happens in our head that would have never happened if it wasn't for streaming,
Mhm.
right? Because, for example, if it was work, like if it was like a normal office job, and it's like a salary paid job, you would be like, okay, I'll hang out after work,
Yeah, yeah.
right? But streaming is kind of this thing where it's like it's okay to take the day off if you really wanted to, and we did for the times that matter. And I work a normal job, so I'm always like, well, after if it's like a day that I have to go to work, it's like I'll meet you guys after
Mhm.
after work, right? It's kind of hard for me to cancel work for that,
Yeah, yeah.
especially because I know I can catch up pretty early. But what's like going through your head when maybe you have like 2 or 3 streams, especially in a situation where we just came off of something that did help us out, help our channel out? Is that like I mean, at the end of the day, you're gonna pick family, and you should pick family. But
I
is there
mean,
like a moment of like,
there was a reason why I had to cancel streams, and that was because she was only available in mornings. Because usually nighttime
Yeah.
she had to go. Because my grandma lives by herself here. She's actually very active for being like 90
I can
in her
attest to
90s.
that, yeah.
She's very like her
Very
memory is failing a little bit recently. but she can still like she has like a helper who comes in and checks on her and everything. But other than that, like she goes by day to day by herself. Like she can do things by herself still.
Mm-hmm.
So she's very independent, but she does live by herself. And so like part of the reason why my mom was visiting was to go see my mom as well, because we're not really sure. You know, she's in her 90s. We're not really sure how long she has, and we just don't know how it's gonna like everything's gonna turn out with COVID. So my mom was worried that, you know, maybe if it gets worse, then Japan shuts down again and she can't come and visit. And yeah, so that's part of the reason why she was here. And so like nighttime she reserved to spend time with my grandma. So a lot of times when she was available was during stream. So of course, like if I was at my old job, it wouldn't have been I probably wouldn't have been able to see her like at all because I can't cancel work, right? And so it is I was very fortunate that with stream we do have a very flexible schedule.
And
Like people are very
understanding community.
understanding,
Yeah.
yeah, of us canceling and everything. But of course, like on the other hand, I was a little worried because I did have to cancel a lot of solo streams. I mean, I did try to make sure that the ones that I was canceling was solo streams and not our dual streams, because in my mind, like dual streams are our main content, and my solo streams are kind of like on the side. They're like extra fun things for me, I guess. Um, or at least that's how I view it in my mind. So, but of course, at the same time, like, you know, it is always scary to cancel because you don't know what's gonna happen, especially since you do hear horror stories of like, oh, you know, people canceled for 3 days and their viewership dropped, or people stopped being interested, or not. So yeah, that's always going through my head.
Yeah,
But there was that,
especially during
yeah,
this time too.
yeah,
It's different than like 2 or 3 years ago when your parents came last time, or like your whole family came
yeah,
last
because
time.
my parents visit every year.
Yeah.
Like recently, they've been able to, you know, they don't have to take care of two kids at home. So I think they've been able to spend a lot of their money on themselves. And one of the things they do is they come visit Japan every year. And so, you know, I got to see them every year. So it wasn't too much of a I mean, it's there's still a priority, don't get me wrong, but it's not as like I have to make time. Like they were a lot more flexible. It wasn't like I have to see them every. There wasn't like a need for me to see them every chance that she had, kind of thing. But since it's been what 2 almost 3 years, I figured like, you know, it is. I do want to see her as much as possible to make up for those 2 years
Yeah.
that I haven't seen her. So I was just hoping in my mind, like I hope everyone understands and it's gonna be okay.
And
Yeah,
I think everyone does. It's just like,
yeah.
and
I mean, it's all
either
like
way.
personal. It's just all in my head because I know everyone on our stream, like all our whole community is so understanding, and they've told me multiple times, like stop apologizing, like you're seeing your mom, like
But that's a
there's no
unique thing.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's like this fear, and I totally understand that. And I would, I don't think anyone would be like, "Oh, don't go see your family that you haven't
hmm
been able to see," you know, especially if you live on the other side of the world from them.
yeah,
But I think it's a pretty unique thing to, especially with the way that you're working, or with stream being your job. I think it's a unique dilemma. Um, Not necessarily it's like a weird one, and I think that's just it's interesting because you asked me, like, you're like, should I cancel? I've been stream canceling a lot of streams. We just came off of Elden Ring. Do you think it's a good idea? And I was like, yes, fucking go, dude. Like don't it get like if here's the thing. If these people all leave, let's say we take 3 days off, and we've had this conversation before. If we take 3 days off or something like that, and for a family thing that we need to do, right? And we explain to everybody, and they don't come back, that's our fault. That's We didn't work hard enough for them to like us or support us after 3 days of being gone, of from seeing family.
yeah,
You know what I mean? For it to be that forgettable, of you know knowing that these people spend hours and hours on our channel, almost on a daily basis. Not everybody, but there's people there. And if they don't come back, that's our fault. We did something terribly wrong. And not the part where we didn't stream. I'm saying all the things
or like we
in
didn't,
between.
yeah,
We didn't. That's our fault
for not building
A strong,
a strong
yeah.
community, and for I guess not. Yeah,
We're the only one to blame there. So
yeah,
it's like at the end of the day, like if that happens, like it's a good test,
yeah.
and
But and I know
like
that it's just a
and it never happened to us
personal
ever.
mental thing where it's like there is a constant worry because it is my livelihood, right? And since with and of course like we knew that the numbers would dip after Elden Ring, and it did a little bit, and I just was a little scared that it would dip even more, especially since like there were new people. So it's like, what if all these people who came in like the other day and then they're like, oh wait, they're not gonna be here for like 3 days out of the schedule is like is they don't know if it's normal, if they don't know if it's not, I mean, if it's like a rare thing, right? So,
It's
but I mean, of course, like
it's
I,
actually insane how much it didn't dip.
yeah,
Um,
it is.
considering we are not playing like okay, like to put this into perspective, like somebody that did come from, you know, LSF, like loves obviously likes Elden Ring or has some interest in the game, you know, um, most likely like Souls games,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this is a very podcast conversation here, um, because I don't think I would ever mention this on stream. Our numbers dip more when we play Dark Souls now,
Yeah,
which
they do,
is fucking
which is
nuts.
weird.
Like this is like it just means that like because we played the first game that we played after. Okay, I need to backtrack this a little bit because it's actually it's like a memory that I have is the
Yeah,
day we finished Elden Ring, we were like, oh shit, we just finished Elden Ring.
yeah,
And there was no way that we were going to go back and try to play it like NG plus right on the spot and, try to grind that or anything like that. Like that
mm-hmm.
wasn't we would the energy drop would just be like so instead we took that content that we didn't do which was like co-op and we brought it to Patreon,
Yeah,
right? But anyways, we didn't play Elden Ring and we're like I think we started thinking about it the day we finished Elden Ring. I forgot if we had a day off after that. Maybe we did, but um, it was like up until like the last 10 minutes or 20 minutes of stream. We just thought about it, just kept asking each other, just looking through all these games. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Is it gonna be Dark Souls 3? But we're kind of burnt out on it right now. And it's really hard to go straight into another Souls game.
mm-hmm.
And we're like, we had two options, I think, at the very end. We couldn't even get it down to two options, and it was mostly because of fear.
Yeah.
And we ended up playing of all games. We ended up playing the Starbucks game.
Oh yeah, the Tilzar game.
Yeah, and people stayed because I think it was just the day after, 2 days after Elden Ring. People are still pumped to see what we're gonna do next. So the numbers were like the same, and we knew that was gonna dip after a couple days if we don't keep
Yeah,
playing, right? That was fine. So that number was like, thanks for like thank you guys so much for checking us out. People were still checking us out from the Elden Ring because us beating Elden Ring, someone put it up on LSF too.
mm-hmm.
So that was, and then it started to dip like slowly from there, right? And we're like, okay, maybe we should play Dark Souls. And then those are not that it matters, like not that it's a peculiar thing that people our numbers go up when we play Heavy Rain, when we play House of Ashes, when we play um and these aren't, I'm not saying they're like worse games, they're just completely different. And you, as somebody that streams games on Twitch, or if you've been on a channel, you've obviously been on different channels, you know the difference. It's very different when somebody goes from something that they did really well on and they completely change. And what
I
do we
mean, goes to show that out of everything, they're here for us and not the game.
and that's
Even
like
new people.
that's amazing. And yes, we definitely want to keep growing, and it's still part of like the very beginning stages. But like that was proof to us. So now we don't really like we played Stanley Parable. The
Yeah.
Stanley Parable Deluxe Edition that just came out because I found it. I was like, "Oh, the new stuff, the deluxe edition has new stuff. Let's play." Like that's like the opposite of a Souls game. Like almost. Like it's just like, just a whole different type of thing. And now we don't even have a fear for that. Like I don't even think about that anymore. I don't even think about, "Oh, we should play something like Elden Ring," or
Yeah.
like it's just So that was something crazy, and I think it. I'm really grateful that people stayed for, or maybe it's bringing new people in. I don't know. Maybe it's different things, but at the end of the day, when you look at the stats at the end of the day, because I have it off until the stream is. I never put the stats on when we stream, but once I'm off, I look at it. I rewatch the VODs too, but um, it just seems like it's not as high as Elden Ring. Of course, it's not, but it's still like
It's still good enough.
it's fucking
Yeah.
amazing. Like for us, like so it that put in that knowing that uh it makes me even more confident to be like, dude, take a few days off. It's fine. Like like it's not that people are really nice. People are really nice for sure. People really care about Blueist, but we worked really hard to create that kind of connection with everybody. So, um, it's okay. And it all kind of comes in like full circle, and I'm really proud of us, and I'm really just thankful for everybody that hangs out with us all the time. It's just it's rare. I think I'm okay. This is anecdotal because I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of in all the streamers or anything, but relatively speaking, from what I've seen, just relatively speaking, it's rare that we can keep. Usually it's like it goes either down to where it used to be, or the boost is like tiny.
Mhm.
And number wise, it's not that big because we're still like we're not like getting like thousands of viewers, but relatively when you speak of like how hard it is for a streamer that gets like maybe like 100 or 90, like where we were before we started Elden Ring, to where we are right now on an average, it's extremely hard. Like how hard was it from us going to the worst one was from 50 to 80. 50
Yeah,
50
50,
60
yeah,
to
it
75
sucked.
80 was the
Yeah, it was
worst.
the worst time.
um
We couldn't get out of those numbers for so long.
yeah, and
Yeah.
we're like, dude, why what's going on? And I think people that are there, like on the cusp of that 75, that there's this like black hole of like 50 to 70, 80, that um it's just there's like a mystery there. It's so hard that to get out of. So what I'm trying to say is just to get 5 viewers, just to get 10 viewers when you are a smaller channel is so hard.
Yeah.
So for us to be able to still keep those people that came from Elden Ring from a very gimmicky reason, that's a really important thing. The reason why we were on LSF was, of course, because of Elden Ring, but there was a huge gimmick that brought people there.
Mm-hmm.
If it was just two Japanese people playing co-op or something, or just playing Elden Ring, none of that would have happened. It's the gimmick of split control.
That helped. Yeah.
So when you take that gimmick away, most people when you take the game and the gimmick away, it's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
natural, very
The only thing
natural.
left is just us.
And then
So
when something like that Elden Ring 2 DLC comes out, they go, okay, we'll come back.
yeah.
They're doing it again because there's that gimmick, right? So that was very scary. Like, we liked split control as a fun way to play, but we didn't want it to be too. We didn't want to rely on that gimmick too much, and we were scared. Like, dude, we're gonna go. Like, we're gonna drop, and we have to be prepared.
Yeah,
But
because I thought we dropped closer to where we first were,
so like
like 80s, 90s kind of
80s,
thing.
90s, hundreds on lucky days.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's what I thought. But
so this very behind the scenes talk, but yeah, when you take that gimmick away, and it's just us playing. Well, technically it's there because we're doing split control, but it has nothing to do. It's just because it's just easier that way for
yeah,
us
because the thing
to
is, like a lot of
stream it.
times, it's we're very fortunate because we have a very core community who understand, or there's a reason why they like us, and they like us so much that they don't really care what we play. As in, like, I mean, they care, but I meant like they're there for us
Yeah.
more than just the game. Of course, they might dip out when we're playing a game that they're not interested in and whatnot, but like it's they know why they like us. I guess they have
Yeah.
a very good, not good, sorry, they have a reason, I guess, that they like us. but we can't always say for sure when it comes to new people.
Right.
I
It's
think
like
some people do find it very quickly because we do have new people who all of a sudden like they're one of our they're like here for every stream. So some people we sometimes get lucky with viewers who see something in us right away. But then
yeah.
there's like the
It might be
other
my really
people
good looks, but
who um who need like a few more times to kind of see
that was cold.
why. Can you stop interrupting me? You talk for so long and then when I'm talking you interrupt me?
I try to make sure we balance it. So if you
What are you
haven't
talking about? Balance it? No.
if you haven't noticed, I don't talk when you talk. Right now, I did because I threw in a joke, and then you just for people that are not that are listening to this in the audio podcast, the audio version, Blue
Mhm.
just like I'm not even here. Like she didn't even look at me. She was just like because we're looking at each other through the monitor right now because we're
Uh-huh.
looking at the OBS screen, so
Mhm.
we can look at each other. But she's just like, you know, she just ignored me. She just went on. So I just feel bad. But that was like the one time I ignored you. Sorry, go on with your story. Or I interrupted you. So we're fortunate because people come in, they like us for some reason.
No, and sometimes we have people who need a few more times to see if they really want to stay or not.
Yeah, yeah, like
So I think that's why it's difficult because you don't know if those new people are the in the A group or the B group or the C group who just leave. But I think C is pretty rare when it if they've been here. Like for example, like if someone's been there for that whole game, they've been watched. They found us maybe early on, Margit or something, or even not even Margit. Maybe like the second time they like Radon, and they were there that whole time and saw us till the end. I feel like it's really rare for them to be like, oh, okay, I'm gone. They might hang around for a few streams. They might come and go,
yeah,
but I think it's pretty rare for them to just all of a sudden just leave and never come back.
yeah, and I
Cause so like I think it's yeah, I think at the end of the day, like you do dip to a certain extent, but that
right,
fluctuates more than before.
yeah,
Like even in most cases, I feel like you do dip, but at the same time, you do have people who will come back once in a while.
yeah,
So like that wave isn't gets bigger, I guess, because there's the days when they come back and then days they leave and whatnot, and so that up and down is a lot more severe. But for some reason, we were very fortunate that our wave isn't too severe,
right,
I guess.
and like it's hard to talk about this stuff, especially on the spot. I'm not. I don't think I'm able to because I don't have a script or anything. I'm just talking off the top of my head. I know it's like mumbo jumbo, but the reason why I don't really talk about we don't talk about this kind of stuff is because, well, first of all, it's really hard to say how we really feel, and when you talk about stuff like that, when you just take the contents of what we're saying, we're saying that we dropped in numbers, but the the emotion that we have behind it is it's completely opposite of that usually. Usually it's like, oh, we dropped, but for us it's like, wait, we just dropped that much? Like that's like what? Like we're so happy and we're very. I think it was we're just really happy where we are. Another thing is that, like you said, there's people that are here, right? And we know that, and these are the people we're like talking to
Hmm.
mostly because the people that aren't here listening to any of this, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, dude, Blue and Gray, we know that, and it almost sounds like I don't want to come off like it almost sounds rude to them because we're explaining to things that they already know. If there's a hurdle to like content creator, and in this example, it's us. They've already passed that, so we're already telling them shit that they already know, or things that they already feel, or they want people to feel. So it kind of seems redundant. It seems um, we're talking about things that you know to we're talking about things about people that aren't, and I've mentioned this in a really old podcast, but when you talk about stuff like this, we're talking to people that aren't here. We're talking about people that aren't going to be listening to this at all, or they somehow find this, which is like a miracle, I think, when we're our size. So it just seems redundant and almost seems almost rude to put. We're not putting them down, but we're like taking it for granted that they're here by mentioning these things that they already give us. They give us their time, they give us their attention, they give us their support, like and chat and all that stuff. So that's kind of the reason. But that is something that goes through our head, um, because we're not like personally talking to anybody when we do this, but just like the shit that's like going on in our head. And
This is all just the technical side of it with when it comes to like, because like when we say numbers, we're not talking about like how supportive you guys are or the
yeah, I just want to
people
make
who
that.
come back every
Yeah.
single time, or like we're just talking purely just logistics. And it's not like there's no what we're not talking about like our emotions or anything like that. It's like completely separate. It's just for people who are curious about like the logistics side of things.
Like what goes through our head,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
if you are watching a stream, you don't in a way qualify for any of this, because you guys you're overqualified in the sense, like you guys have in our like we and it's really weird because people like to talk about people that aren't there, and they
Mm-hmm.
stop focusing on the people that are there. But at the same time, a lot of the questions that we have been getting through these podcasts, the questions that we do get on stream are the things about people that aren't there.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really, and that's why we like to respond a lot to stuff like that, um, in a sincere way that doesn't come off wrong. It's really hard to word stuff like that because, you know, in a space where it's like, you know, numbers, like of course we think about them, but it's I can like we are very aware. We are very lucky. We are very very lucky. And with, you know, the core group that we have right now, and I think we have potential to keep growing too, in a healthy way. There's unhealthy ways to grow, I think, but we're very just slow pace, but definitely like a healthy way. And Elden Ring was a really good opportunity. It was the first time anything like that in that's ever happened, you know, and so it it really kind of like we got to experience it, and we want to experience it more so we can learn from it,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. And I'm just saying that because when people talk about it, just sounds cold, you know, it just sounds cold, you know, and it is cold because there's numbers, but we don't think of people as numbers or anything like that. But it's, you know, if you keep taking when you take this stuff seriously, and it does mess with your head a lot. And we have to like this podcast is for us to kind of output it, all the input that we have, output it, just so we can kind of organize it a little bit by putting it out, and then being going, oh shit, I should have said that. Like I probably came off wrong, and regretting it immediately after I make it public, and Blue going, calm the fuck down, Gray, you're fine. So that's what it is. Um, and that conversation kind of spewed out all from, you know, taking breaks and stuff. It's all connected. Everything is connected because when you do something every day for so long, it's hard to kind of change it up, right? That's why we have a schedule in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I guess with games and like that, that's kind of mostly what we did this month, and
Yeah.
that's what we did. So I think it's a good time to get into the questions. So thank you guys so much. Unless we missed out on something, Blue.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think we
So
should be good.
we're gonna get into the questions. For people that don't know, these are questions that are being asked by Twitch subs on the Discord in the podcast question section. So if you want to ask a question and have us answer it, you have to be a Twitch subs. but
But if you don't have the rule on Discord, let us know. It probably just means that you don't have Twitch
right,
and Discord connected. Because if you have it connected, then you should have new channels that open up, and there should be a channel that says podcast questions that you can throw your
yes.
questions in. So just make sure your Discord and Twitch is connected, and then you should
If
see it.
not,
If
just hit
not,
me
yeah,
up.
just even if you connect it and all of a
So
sudden it doesn't show up after like because it does take some time. So give it like 24 hours. If it doesn't show up, then let us know and we'll give you like a rule.
yeah,
We'll give you a
shoot us a
temporary rule.
DM.
So
Yep.
yeah,
And then we can just check it on our Twitch to make sure that you are subbed, and then we'll just
yeah.
give you the temp sub rule. So again, thank you guys subs. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much for these questions, and let's get to it. What's the first question?
First question is from Kago. And it's, since the stream
No,
used
wait,
to.
no, no. There's one above that. Cooking egg
Okay,
stream.
we can ignore Fire's question, right?
Yeah, it's got enough
Okay,
reactions. You guys
Adele,
have already seen the
cooking egg
questions.
stream. I'm guessing this is a meme from something. I don't remember what it was from though.
Oh, it's from Heavy Rain because I couldn't make it the eggs,
Oh right, all
or
right. Do
there
you
was
want to
no
redeem?
way to make the
Yeah. Do you
eggs.
want to redeem yourself
I
by
already did.
making scrambled eggs for us?
Here's the thing. Go check out the tour video of me making omelets in a
No, no, no,
maid
no, no.
costume
You have
at
to make a
Beach
sunny side
Milky's
up. Isn't that what he made? Do you know how to make a sunny side up?
easier than an omelet. So yeah, and then an omu rice.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll redeem myself. I'm ready. So thank you for that question, Aza. And Fire. I'll hit you up in the DMs about that. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Adele.
All right.
Next one is from Kago, and
Hey.
he asks, since the stream used to be a heavy focus on Final Fantasy 14, do you wish you would have hopped back on when the game suddenly got hot? Originally found the stream when you had 20 something viewers and we're still in the top 10 people of, or top 10 of people streaming 14 at the time. Short answer is no. Yeah. Do you wish you would have hopped back on when the game suddenly got hot? Not really. Just because like for us, it's not really. I mean, of course, like we'll play games that recently got released, like we did with Elden Ring and whatnot. But we're not really looking. One of the rules that we have, is to play games that we're interested at the time, like what we want to play at the time. And the last thing we want to do is play a game just because it's hot.
We've done that before.
We've done that before, and it didn't turn out very well because we would get burned out really quickly of that game, and it was very obvious that we weren't enjoying it. So, and at the time, like of course, like we were really into 14 at the time, so that's why we played it all the time. But then, we realized that just playing 14 would just make us 14 streamers, and we do like doing variety, and we do want to play other games. So that's why we kind of slowly weaned off of it, and I also realized that I'm not very good at streaming 14. It's not something that I'm confident in as well. Like MMOs are like I think require a whole different level of like I guess streaming skill in a way, where it's just a lot of like a ton of information on the screen, and you're doing a lot of the same like very similar things on a daily, and that's not something I'm confident in making interesting. And I think a lot of 14 streamers can do that, but I'm just not confident enough to do that. So there is a personal reason why we haven't really gone back to 14. But yeah, I guess we just don't really want to play a game just because it's hot. If we're interested in it, yes, but yeah, ultimately it's because we really want to play it.
Being locked into a game is probably our biggest fear.
Mm-hmm.
We're not good at that. We get bored really easily if we just keep doing the same thing, even if we're really, really interested in it, if it's the same style. A lot of MMOs are very, like Blue said, it's the same, you run the same things every day. So it's, in a way, you can make it into a just chatting stream. You can do that. And that's like a totally viable way of doing a stream. But it's, we would rather, coming back to 14 when we want to. So this is completely fine. So it's not like we don't want to ever stream that game or anything. I mean, you did, right? You streamed it when Endwalker dropped. So
yeah.
I think, but for us, just to do that hard. I mean, it was nice when, yeah, like 14's growing, like the directory's growing. So I don't think we would be like the top 2 or whatever now, but it's, it wouldn't really be like because we would hit the top 5 or whatever directory. It's
like,
very
we
hard
know,
to grow from that.
Like we know 14 streamers, and I don't know how they do it. Like I have so much respect for them because they do similar things every day, and they can make it. They can make it interesting. They can make new content out of the same game, and I don't know how they do that. Like I would get so bored so quickly, and so I'm just not. Yeah, we're just not confident in playing one game forever. That's the same reason why it's like I said earlier that maybe we shouldn't have played Dark Souls so quickly after Elden Ring because that is same kind of content, right? So
yeah. Jadel asks, "Are you guys considering playing Parasite Eve?" That's a game that's been mentioned a lot. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, like definitely in the realm of possibility. not against it.
Yeah.
Kate, thanks for asking that question, man. Casey asks, as with playing any new hot games, Elden Ring brought the numbers up to a new high. It's great to see that average number, while declined off the Elden Ring peak, does appears to be higher than it used to be in general. But as it may, how do you readjust if all mentalities to coming off a game of hype and moving on with streaming as usual? So that's kind of exactly what we were mentioning before.
Earlier, yeah.
One thing that I want to point out is that playing a hot game is probably the worst thing
Mm-hmm.
a streamer of our size could do.
Mm-hmm.
Like mentioned before, we had a gimmick that we've been doing for a while, and we got really lucky because the game was super hot. But
Usually, you want to stay away if you're a
it's not a good
streamer
idea.
with under like 500 viewers.
You just get washed out.
You get washed out. So you do not want to play hot games. Like that's like the one. If you look at any like streaming guide, like how do you get started with streaming and whatnot, how do you grow, kind of thing. The one thing that's always constant that you always see is don't play hot games because you will get drowned out. And that's why like you should never play like they always say like you should never play the top 5 games either. So don't play LoL, Apex, any kind of like big Overwatch, Valorant, like any of those top games at the moment. Because yeah, there's so many people streaming it that the chance that people end up on your stream is so low. And that's why like finding a game that you're really passionate about, or finding a smaller game that maybe it's still like if you scroll down you might still see it, but it's not like super high, you'll have a higher chance of being discovered there. So you should never play a hot game when you're a small streamer.
We used to do that, like look at games. I don't even recommend doing that, man.
Yeah.
Because that burns you out.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, but I meant just like relatively compared to like hot games kind of thing.
We just had we were lucky, and we had
mm-hmm.
we were growing, and also we had a gimmick.
Yeah, like when we played Elden Ring, or when Gray and I decided that we're gonna play Elden Ring on stream, right when it came out, like we had we skipped maybe the weekend of release or whatever,
mm-hmm.
but we sat down and talked about how we were definitely going to lose, like our numbers were going to be low, because for sure people had other streamers to watch playing Elden Ring. That's Absolutely. What we thought. So we thought it was gonna dip like big time.
But we just wanted to play it because we just wanted to play it.
Because we just really wanted to, and because usually when you play hot games, our numbers did dip. So from our past experience, it was like, what, we really want to play Elden Ring though, but it's not good for our numbers, but do you still want to play it? And I was like, yeah.
Because we never really cared about that
mm-hmm.
in a while.
But I mean, it is something we discuss.
But Elden Ring is just a whole nother caliber of hype.
Yeah.
That it was just a whole nother level of hype. Like, are you ready for this? Like,
yeah.
And then we were just like, yeah, let's do it, because we've been waiting for this game for so
mm-hmm.
long. So we really
So we were just very fortunate that it brought us up instead of down.
Yeah.
And it's not something we expected at all.
It was a good combination of, like I said, the split control, and
mm-hmm.
people found something in us that was interesting.
Yeah.
And it was also the fact that it was a first playthrough is a big part. And it was the first playthrough for a lot of people too. So
mm-hmm.
When are we getting more nail clip? Oh no, never. When are you gonna finish Endwalker?
I don't know.
9.
I don't know.
It's a long expansion, right?
Yeah. We're still in the first part.
John asked, "What's a question you wish people would ask?" I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm
you
surprised
guys ask
people
really
actually
good
already
questions.
have questions. So
yeah, you guys ask pretty good questions
in the first place. So yeah, I don't know how my day is. God.
Yeah, you guys don't ask about how we're doing.
Yeah, you always say why, Gray, but you never ask
how.
How are you, Gray? Jeez. I mean, you guys do. When does Blue dab? Never.
Never.
Toasty. Okay.
Never toasty.
Blluist, I saw you guys try out No Man's Sky the other day. What'd you think?
Oh, a friend of ours was playing No Man's Sky, and she was like, "Hey, Blue, I know you like these kind of games. Do you want to play with me?" So I tried out multiplayer. It was pretty fun.
Not my game.
It's definitely
Not
fun
my
with
kind of game.
like friends.
Yeah, not my kind of game, but
it's something up my alley for sure.
Definitely Blue's alley.
Yeah. It was fun. Now I just like look up guys and I see like really cool spaceships, and it just makes me but all I see is like this giant dark hole that I'm gonna sink into, because like in order to get, because there was a really cute ship that I really want, but apparently it's like really hard to get, and just I don't know if I want to dive into that yet. So yeah.
Thank you, Blasi. Use us. Let's recap top favorite moments, events this month, IRL included.
I don't know if I have top 10,
Let's do top 5, and
but
then we can combine it.
okay.
I don't think we can do top 10 in the
Yeah.
like. I can't think of anything.
I mean, top 1 is I got to see my mom. That was really
Hell
nice.
yeah.
So, top 2 is I got to eat cake with her.
Yep.
Cake was great. Top 3 was my birthday because I got to see her and Gray, and we ate really good eel and cake.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Do you have any, or should I list my 5 first?
I mean, events this month. Does Elden Ring count as this month? Us playing like just
No, that was last month.
That was last month. Because that game was phenomenal. I guess like IRL, like I can only say like just really really recent stuff was like we got to hang out with a bunch of friends to go out to like an exhibit.
Yeah, that was really fun.
That was a really fun moment. We went picnic. That kind of a half Hanami thing. It's always nice meeting people.
Yeah, we got to see our friends who recently had a kid. That was really exciting. Yeah,
dude.
So that was super exciting.
Yeah, that's huge. Actually, that's probably one of my top 3.
Yeah.
My top 3 for sure. Got to see. It's so weird, man. I grew up with this guy. I met him in the 4th grade. I've been friends with him for almost 20 years, or over 20 years, and now he's. First it was crazy. He was like, I'm gonna get married, and I was like, what? And then now he's like, I'm a dad. I'm like, what? My God, and I'm maidenless over here. What the fuck, man? I'm playing.
What?
Like when I'm playing Elden Ring, Blue, not in real life.
Okay.
Get the joke? She killed the joke. It's not my fault. That was a good joke.
How is that a good joke?
Joke killer. I have a joke killer. You guys can judge. If you guys hear it, if you guys listen to the podcast.
It was kind of funny though, because like Gary and I are both really not that, like, we've never really thought about like, oh, let's have a family. Like that's not really on our mind at all.
No, not
like
right.
it's
at least
like,
right now.
Yeah, for us it's like career. We really like our career, so it's like, do you want kids? Not really, kind of thing. So it was really weird seeing Gray sit next to this baby's, like, because he was in a rocker, and the whole time Gray's like melting in front of this kid.
He grabbed my finger.
And he grabbed his finger. It's like, just take it. You can have all my fingers.
Yeah, I was like, give me the cutters. You can have my fingers.
Yeah.
Like she was. Oh man, the baby was so cute.
Very cute baby.
Very quiet baby too.
Yeah.
Very quiet baby.
It's kind of rare.
And there was like 6 of us there too. Like it must have been information overload for the baby, but he was still like so quiet. Such a good baby. Yeah. So thank you for asking that, Yuzu. All right, Pan asks, how do you feel about a series, either a game or anime, dropping the ball on endings to being mid at best, and has that happened to you guys off?
Don't get me started.
Off or on stream? Yeah, it happens.
It happens.
On stream, if it's a game that falls off at the ending of a stream, or like the ending at the ending of like if it's like a story game or something, we'll try to keep our energy up until the end, because we want to end on a good note, and then maybe we'll talk about it a different day. But in the moment, there's been games like that. With anime, we had one recently that just we really liked. We were watching Ranking of Kings, and that anime was really good. And then
until the ending, and it was
ending just was confusing, and it just didn't. For us, we didn't really like it. And apparently, there's a season 2. Maybe they'll redeem it.
Yeah,
but
maybe they'll redeem it.
Weird way to end season 1. But up until that moment, it was like,
it's really good. And same thing with the game too. Like, of course, like your opinion not plummets, but like your opinion does go down once you see an ending you don't really like. Like one of the things that we experienced was like Omori, where we really loved the game is phenomenal. The fight system was really, really cool. The music and everything, and the whole system of like emotions was super cool. But the ending was kind of like, for both of us. Yeah. But I'm not saying but like I said, it didn't like make us hate the game or anything. Yeah. Like we still really enjoy the game, and I still have really fond memories of that game. Mm-hmm. Fight system, like I said, fight system was like really, really good. But of course, like, you do see endings where it's like, that wasn't really how I would have liked it. But at the same time, like when we're streaming it, we'll never say that, because like no one wants to see that either, right? And at the moment, like when we're streaming it,
It's an
it's
afterthought because
it's
like
an
it's
afterthought.
in the moment. It's not like we're lying and we're like, oh, we have to fake it or anything. Like
Yeah,
if something's really bad, then maybe. But we haven't really encountered anything that um
it's really bad.
yeah,
So
like we had this when we played a particular game. We just had to quit because the game bugged and we couldn't continue on the game. And we're like, yeah, that game was not good because well, the game was broken.
it's unplayable. Yeah,
So um but even with that we were like, okay, yeah, we're done for today. Like I think we'll pick this up next time, like during the stream.
yeah.
Because in the stream it's not just us playing the game, it's like everybody
It's
there
you
too.
guys too.
So it's
So,
a lot more fun
mhm.
to
And I think
just like
even
shoot the shit, I
because I
guess.
mean, even with Omori, when we were saying that ending, we were like, oh my god, it got so dark. But that was it. We didn't say like, oh, this is bullshit. Like we don't make that kind of comments because that's not the comments that were going through our
And I don't
head. It
think
was
it was
just like,
bullshit
yeah,
either.
yeah,
Like
no. I'm
it's
just saying like it wasn't
yeah.
like a severe thing because it's not something that was going through our head. It was just like we genuinely thought like, wait, whoa, that's like really dark kind of thing, and that is a genuine feeling. But is it like an ending we would have liked? Maybe not. But I'm not. I'm not like I don't want people to think like we hated it because we did not hate it. We
Now
loved the game,
I'm sorry, but
but
everyone thinks we hate Omori now. We're Omori haters. But it's hard. Like we're not gonna like all the games,
mhm.
but I focus more on us streaming the game than the game itself.
Yeah.
So
At the end of the day, if
I'm
we're
reviewing how
enjoying the
I did
stream,
or how Blue did than how the game did,
yeah,
kind of thing. Like if we can't make the game interesting, and
yeah,
if it's just like a bummer, that's our fault, not the game's fault.
mhm,
So
exactly.
like no matter how broken the game is, if people walk away from Blluist thinking, "Man, that game was I don't feel that good." Unless the game is like has that kind of tone and that's what makes the game good. And that's unfortunate, but because we don't play like super fun games all the time. But if like story wise and tone wise, but if people go off Blluist being like, "Yeah, they weren't feeling it. I could tell that they weren't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it." You know, then that's not the game's fault. It's our fault. So it's we just gotta do better, I think. So thanks for that question, man.
Yeah.
Vaughn asks, Mochi Dog is Gray's alter ego. Who's yours, Blue? It's a good question.
Uh,
Well,
I don't know.
maybe there'll be one very soon.
I've yet to discover
Yeah,
one.
you have to discover your
I
alter
haven't
ego.
met it yet. Yeah.
Is there a possibility that Mama Blue appear on stream one day?
No.
Never.
No.
I mean, it's too hard. I mean, she doesn't even live here, so
Yeah.
it's
And even if she did, I wouldn't want to put her on stream just to protect her from things. Like I don't think she'd be comfortable with it. She's not a very outgoing person either. So like if I asked her,
she's very
she would
shy.
say
She's
yes.
super cute.
Yeah, like if I asked her, she would say yes, but I don't want to put that kind of pressure on her. So
pictures
yeah.
and stuff like you. She's
Yeah,
been on
pictures
the
are
Instagram
fine.
and stuff.
But yeah, I think that's she likes her privacy too.
Yeah.
So my dad probably be more willing. But then again, I think he's both my parents are really shy. So I don't know. I think they'd be really nervous and be like, I don't know. And yeah. So I wouldn't want to put that kind of pressure on him.
He's a very outgoing guy, but like he has to be in his element.
Yeah.
I think to really like excel.
Like I don't think he would. They wouldn't mind if I take like videos and share it, but maybe not live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thank you guys so much for those questions. We really appreciated it, man. We'll be back again next month with the May version of the episode of the So-So podcast. Keep those questions coming. I'll let you guys know when we start towards the end of the month. We really appreciate you guys listening to this, watching this on YouTube, asking questions. Thank
you so much, guys.
The fact that we keep doing this means that we're still streaming, so we're doing something okay. So
yeah,
thank you guys.
Something's going okay.
So thank you guys. We'll see you guys next month for the next episode, and Anu will see you there too in the next episode of the So-So podcast.
See you guys.
Take care, guys.